Good morning, people. It's dark in here. Anyways, Amazon. Flash briefing.
Jamie, here's your flash briefing. In NPR News.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Corva Coleman. President Biden says an investigation is underway into who leaked sensitive documents online this year, and, quote, it's getting close. The documents appear to reveal information about the war in Ukraine. These turned up in an online platform typically used by gamers. The Washington Post has published a story about the alleged leaker. It includes an interview with a young person who claims they know the leaker through online platforms. The presiding judge in a blockbuster defamation suit against Fox News has formally rebuked its legal team. NPR's David Folkenflik reports he's also ordered an investigation of how the Fox team has handled the case.
The case hinges on false claims made on Fox by star hosts and guests about Dominion Voting Systems, an election tech company. Dominion says Fox sought to curry favor with then-President Donald Trump supporters in 2020 by knowingly broadcasting false claims that it switched votes from Trump to challenger Joe Biden. This week, for the first time, Fox informed the court that Fox Corp founder Rupert Murdoch was also executive chairman of Fox News. Delaware Superior Court Judge Eric Davis said Fox had repeatedly claimed that Murdoch was not a corporate officer of the network. Fox said that fact was contained in official financial documents. Omission is a lie, Judge Davis rebuked Fox's legal team. He said he could impose further sanctions on Fox as well. The jury trial phase of the case is set to start on Monday. David Folkenflik, NPR News.
A federal appeals court panel in New Orleans has preserved access to the abortion pill mifepristone. But NPR's Dave Mistich says the appeals court panel is imposing stricter rules to obtain the medication.
A ruling last week by a judge in Texas blocked the FDA's decades-long approval of mifepristone. The case was brought by opponents of abortion rights. But the Biden administration appealed that decision. And now a 3-judge panel has allowed the drug to continue to be dispensed up to 7 weeks of pregnancy, scaling it back from 10 weeks and not by mail.
NPR's Dave Mistich reporting. Stocks opened higher this morning as the Labor Department reported an uptick in the number of people applying for unemployment benefits. NPR's Scott Horsley reports the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose about 3 points in early trading.
Some 239,000 people filed new applications for unemployment benefits last week. That's the largest number of new jobless claims in 15 months. It points to an increase in layoffs, although the overall job market remains tight. Wholesale prices fell last month thanks in part to a drop in energy prices. The producer price index declined by 0.5% between February and March. Falling gasoline prices also contributed to last month's drop in retail inflation, but now prices at the pump are climbing again. AAA reports the average price of unleaded regular gas is nearly $3.65 a gallon. That's up 9 cents from a week ago and 17 cents higher than this time last month. Scott Horsley, NPR News, Washington.
You're listening to NPR News. Parts of southeastern Florida have been stunned by a crush of rain. Areas around Fort Lauderdale got more than a foot of rain yesterday in just a few hours. The city has declared a state of emergency. The Fort Lauderdale airport is closed after water submerged runways. Broward County schools are also closed. Some Florida areas may have gotten more than 20 inches of rain. France's Constitutional Council is preparing to announce its ruling on President Emmanuel Macron's controversial retirement reforms. These have triggered heavy protests. Jake Saganarote reports from Paris. The French government is beefing up security in the capital ahead of tomorrow's ruling.
Paris police said there will be increased protection, particularly around the Constitutional Council headquarters, which is next to the Louvre Museum. Recent protests have seen violent clashes between protesters and security forces, and piles of trash burning in the streets.
They just send it to you in the mail. Hey, your retirement age has increased.
President Macron forced through without a vote. The government will be able to implement the bill, raising the retirement age from 62 to 64. The majority of the 9-member council are centrists and conservatives, including 2 members appointed by Macron. If the reform passes, labor unions have vowed to continue strikes until the pension plan is scrapped altogether. For NPR News, I'm Jake Saganarote in Paris.
North Korea has test fired what seems to be an intermediate-range ballistic missile. It soared far into the sky and landed in the sea. The launch triggered warnings for a northern Japanese island, but officials said later residents were not in danger. I'm Corva Coleman, NPR News in Washington. Know that fizzy feeling you get when you read something really good, watch the movie,
but I do know the
everyone's
feeling
talking
I get
about,
when
or
I hear
catch the show
commercials.
the internet can't get over.
Amazon.
At the
Skip.
In NASA news, a SpaceX Dragon cargo resupply spacecraft is set to depart the International Space Station on Saturday, April 15th,
Look
returning
out.
scientific
Here's the
research samples and hardware to Earth for NASA. A NASA instrument to provide unprecedented resolution of monitoring major air pollutants down to 4 square miles lifted off on its way to
4 square
geostationary
miles.
orbit at 12:30 a.m. EDT Friday.
4 square miles. So,
NASA Administrator
What
Bill
are you
Nelson has
observing in
named
that 4
Dr.
square
Mackenzie
miles?
Listrup, director of the agency's Goddard Space Flight
For real.
Center in Maryland, effective
sounds like a
immediately.
spy satellite.
She will make history as the first
Not
female center director
spying
of
on
Goddard.
pollution. We don't need a satellite to see if the world is
Technology and development today could radically change the future of air and space exploration.
We already got Google
Nearly
Maps.
silent electric aircraft could ferry people and packages around cities. A sprawling radio telescope array on the far side of the moon could reveal new secrets about the universe, and astronauts on long-duration missions could grow their own Medici.
They won't Medici.
NASA and SpaceX are targeting no earlier than 12:30 a.m. EDT Friday, April 7th to launch NASA's TEMPO, Tropospheric Emissions Monitoring of Pollution Instrument. TEMPO is the first space-based instrument to monitor major air pollutants hourly in high spatial resolution, down to 4 square miles, in a region stretching from the Atlantic to the Po. In weather.
So you're
Currently,
spying
in
on the
Seattle, it's
Atlantic.
42 degrees Fahrenheit with mostly
4
cloudy
square miles of
skies.
it.
Today, you can expect clouds and
Bermuda
showers,
Triangle?
with a high of 51 degrees and a low of 41 degrees. From
Alright,
NASA,
Amazon.
a
Off. And what was going on the dark side of the moon? Craters, they were sending supplies. Gosh, I forget what they're doing there. Who knows? It's NASA. Alright, Amazon, tell us a joke.
What kind of fish tastes the best with peanut butter?
None.
Jellyfish.
Jellyfish and peanut butter? Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. Have a great day, everybody. Peace, love, prosperity.